And taking a look at the all-conference team for McKendree. McKendree, they did have one player on the WWPA first team, and that is number 7. It is Ahmad Legoff. Legoff, the junior out of France. And they also had a player on the second team, and that went to Yannick Robertson. Robertson, he wears number 10, the junior out of Trinidad and Tobago. And an honorable mention for McKendree, that went to number 4, Alexandros Prokopis. And Ricardo Vettor, member of the all-defensive team, and Alexandros Prosepis, also a member of the all-freshman team. And for Fresno Pacific, Forrest Gray, a member of the WWPA second team, and their keeper, Chase Hamas, a member of the honorable mention team, and Tristan Fox, the all-defensive team. So this is going to set things up for a fun matchup. And for McKendree, they are trying to make it back to the semifinals for the first time in 2 years in their inaugural season as a member of the WWPA. Like we talked about, they took down Fresno Pacific in overtime in the 2023 quarterfinals, but McKendree would go on to lose to Biola by 5, and McKendree also losing to Biola in the quarterfinals last year. So it should set up for a fun game here at the SPIRE Aquatic Center. Fresno Pacific, they lost to Gannon in the quarterfinals a season ago. And like we said, Fresno Pacific, this is a game that has been their kryptonite over the past few years. Fresno Pacific, the last time they made it to the semifinals was in 2022 when they defeated Biola in double overtime, but they will go on to lose to UC Davis 22-6 in the quarterfinals in 2022. So it is going to be a fun game here to see who will play Concordia as we move along to the quarterfinals. Winner of this game moves to the semifinals, and the winner will take on Concordia, the number 1 seed from the West. As McKendree trying to start out with control, and they have a chance for the first goal. As they start off with possession, and they get goal number 1. And like we talked about, it is Ahmad Legoff getting the party started for McKendree. The WWPA first teamer and the transfer from Saddleback gets the party started. So let's see how the Sunburns can respond. Chris Sandino. Pass over. And a foul. Sees McKendree starting things off with an exclusion. Ahmad Legoff, the first teamer in the first goal of this quarterfinal game, trying to send it off. And a chance there that is going to go wide with time running out. That last-ditch shot by Chris Sandino, the sophomore out of Fresno. And McKendree will take it back with a chance to go ahead 2-0 to start this game. McKendree finishing off WWPA play 2-2. And a chance and a goal in front. Yannick Robertson. And it is 2-0 McKendree to start this game. Robertson, the second team player, 6'3", out of Trinidad Tobago. The WWPA second teamer, 3 years in a row. Also a member of the all-freshman team in 2023, so he has been a second team member in all 3 years for the junior. He was also a Division II All-American honorable mention last year, as he does not in goal 163 in his career. And a whistle. Fresno Pacific trying to do everything they can to get on the board. Trying for that chance here. Johnson with the pass. Sandino fires, and he scores. Chris Sandino, the sophomore, gets the Birds on the board. Skipping that past the starting keeper for McKendree. Gennaro Pecoraro. So what can McKendree do with the response? And a whistle and possession back to the Sunbirds. Will be led up by Samuel Ramos. And control going back to McKendree. Pecoraro, a grad student from Italy. His first year with McKendree. After coming over from the country that's going to be hosting the Olympics in a few months. And some pressure in front. They were trying to feed a spot to Kevin Keogh. Bearcats still keep. And a stop! Oh my goodness, that was blocked in front, and coming up with it was the starting keeper for the Sunbirds, Chase Hammis. The 2025 honorable mention player who was a second team member a year ago for the junior. And another whistle with 4:56 remaining in the opening quarter. And Blake Johnson swimming away for Fresno Pacific. With some subs coming in and also some exclusions as well. Marlon Doherty, the junior out of Colorado, getting called with an exclusion. The Fresno Pacific on the power play as they tried to tie the game. Forrest Gray. Forrest Gray's right in the middle. The officials are talking things over at the scoring table. So we have a little break from the action as a result. On this Friday, all of the other conferences getting their tournaments set to go to see where everybody will place. Of course, the winner of this game will head over to California for the automatic bid to the 2025 Water Polo National Tournament at the Avery Aquatic Center once again. UCLA, the defending national champions, taking down USC 11-8 in the national championship game last December. Salem getting the automatic bid in the WWPA, and Salem would lose to UCLA 22-6 in the quarterfinal matchup a year ago in the national tournament. The winner of this tournament will head off to Stanford for the national championship tournament. Ramos back towards the middle, trying for the intercept, looking for the pressure, and they get it. Getting a big paw in there, James Ramey. As the Bearcats try to go ahead, and a penalty shot. It was applied by Ramey. And who's going to take it? It's going to be Joshua Gibson, the sophomore from the Bahamas. Part of the all-freshman team a season ago, and he gets the penalty shot to make it 3-1 McKendree. Here's McKendree. Trying to do all they can here to head back to the semifinals. They are ahead by 2. Fresno Pacific trying to get back within 1 here. And a foul and a goal right in the middle, feeding that to Forrest Gray. And it's 3-2. Forrest Gray, the second team member of this year's all-conference team. He was an honorable mention the past 2 years. And he now has 189 goals in his career. Now the Bearcats trying the counter, try for the chance in the middle, and a penalty shot's on the way, another one for the Bearcats. It was drawn by Robertson. Trying to feed that pass to him in the middle. And Gibson will wind up to take it again. And he's got it to make it 4-2. 2 penalty shots given up by Fresno Pacific in this first period. Fresno Pacific trying to get back within 1 and a foul towards the direction of Ramy, and he has to leave, getting called for the exclusion. Ramos trying for the one-timer, and it was a little too high. McKendree taking it back, and they want that steal out of the gate as they tried to feed it to Colton Parks. And a goal in front. It's going to go in. Forrest Gray again. And it's 4-3. Subs come in for both teams. These two teams have a lot of experience playing against each other in this tournament. They have gone up against each other the past 2 tournaments that we talked about in the quarterfinals 2 years ago. A game that McKendree won 17-16 in overtime, and they also met in the 5th place game last year. A game that Fresno Pacific won 14-13. That was the last time these two teams have squared off. And a turnover that's forced by Fresno Pacific. And another whistle, but they have to give it back. They picked up by Martinez, and the cut off. They still try to scramble for it, and it is going to be denied. Hammis, and he's going to send it up ahead. Forrest Gray. Can the Birds tie it? Ramos, will he? And a penalty shot with a chance to tie it. The exclusion against Keogh. And Forrest Gray will take it for Fresno Pacific. And it is going to be denied. Oh, what a stop. Peko Herrero to keep the lead alive for McKendree. And McKendree's going to reset. And they shoot, and that shot is going to skip a little wide. And it was taken by number 23, that's Ricardo, that tore He usually wears cap number 15. He's wearing 23 for this match. Or Vedore, I beg your pardon. So a stop the other way, and Pecoraro denies the chance again. Trying to send that chance to Tristan Fox. The Fresno Pacific. They regain possession. Some open space. It's Luke Young, and he was met immediately by Martinez. And the flip, Pecoraro. Now Doherty, and pressure by Ramos. Gallagher is looking to fire. Back into the middle, Doherty, and a timeout. Seems going to be called, or at least the timeout horn sounded. No, what am I saying? McKendree ran out of time to shoot. Ramos, the senior, Hayward, California. He leads it up ahead. He's tried to lobs it in. It's going to hit the crossbar instead. And Pecoraro will throw it over far side. Pressure working on the far side. It's Forrest Gray applying the pressure for Fresno Pacific. And a chance and a goal. It's number 23. That's Ricardo Vedore. Or Vedore. And it's 5-3 McKendree. Vedore making it 5-3 as we move along to the second in 10 seconds. Fresno Pacific trying to get back within one. And an exclusion against McKendree. Ramos, 2 seconds to shoot, tried to go for the one-timer, and we move along to the second with a 5-3 lead for McKendree as they tried to feed that in. The Kristen Clark, who was wearing cap number 19. And we're going to have some replays here as we move along into the second quarter with a low-scoring affair, 5-3. With the Bearcats in front. So we have another replay here. And that was that goal to make it 3-2 for Fresno Pacific. Fresno Pacific, this is a program that is the most senior program in all of the WWPA. Their inaugural year in the conference was 2015. Their first ever game in the tournament was in 2015 when they lost to Air Force. 11-10. Fresno Pacific, they lost in the quarterfinals in 2016, losing to UC Davis in the quarterfinals as well in 2017. Like we said, Fresno Pacific, they have tried time and time again to make it to the semifinals. In 2018, they lost to UC San Diego, lost to UC Davis again in 2019. They lost to Biola in 2021 in the quarterfinals, 10-9. And Fresno Pacific, they finally broke the curse in 2022 when they defeated Biola 13-11 in overtime, but they could not get past UC Davis in the semifinals 22-6. And Fresno Pacific, they were trying to make it back to the semifinals for the second year in a row 2 years ago in 2023. But like we talked about, they had to get by McKendree, and they could not. McKendree winning that game in their first ever game, actually, in the WWPA 17-16 in overtime, their first ever game in the WWPA tournament. And then Fresno Pacific losing to Gannon in the quarterfinals last year, 17-15. So Fresno Pacific, in their 10 years they have been in the WWPA, they have only played in the championship. In the semifinals, they have never played in the championship. They have only played in the semifinals twice. And on the other side, McKendree, they would go on to lose to Biola in the semifinals in 2023, and then they lost to Salem in the third place game. Last year, McKendree would lose to Biola in the quarterfinals, so this is a matchup of two teams that fell in the quarterfinals last year. And Fresno Pacific would defeat McKendree in the fifth place game a year ago. So we move along into the second period. A 5-3 lead for McKendree. And McKendree in the black caps, the whites for Fresno Pacific. And Gibson hands it off. Legoff, who got the party started with the first goal. Legoff was trying for the feed again. And they get it back to him. Legoff at the 6-meter line, pushing it down low towards the 2-meter, swarming in the middle. Robertson tried to pick it up, and Fresno Pacific is going to get another turnover. Applied by Forrest Gray. Fresno Pacific trying to get within one here. Winner of this game will move on to the semifinals tomorrow to face Concordia. Sandino trying to push, and the block. Getting the pressure was Prokopis. Thrown. Pecoraro. And a chance at a goal to start the second. Quentin Gallagher. And it's 6-3 McKendree. Sunbirds will take it back, and McKendree, they wanted a foul there. And they're not happy about it because they're getting called for an exclusion. It's Legoff. Fresno Pacific trying to make it 6-4 here. They do. Forrest Gray scores. The second team member of the all-conference team. Gibson. Jaden Del Campo. Trying for the flip in the middle. Prosopis picks it back up. Gallagher has some open space, trying to skip it in. Oh, it's going to hit the post and it roll in. It did not. Ham is taking a big breath there, as whistle stopping play because Fresno Pacific and John Miller calling a timeout. With 6:05 left, Jonathan Miller, his first year as the head coach of this men's water polo program. He took over for Brian Sahovey, who transitioned to just leading the women's program. He was the women's head coach at Cal Baptist from 2024 to 2022. He was a goalie himself. He played for Cal Baptist. He was a 4-year starter. And he actually spent some time back into this area. He was the women's water polo coach for Grove City College, a Division III program. 3 straight CWPA titles from 2010 to 2012. He's also a kinesiology major from Cal Baptist. And on the other side, Miguel Figueres, head coach, first year for him. After coming over from Washington University in St. Louis, where he was the club water polo coach for Washington University in St. Louis from 2021 to 2025. McKendree nestled in Illinois, outside of the St. Louis area. And of course, this is the first year for McKendree without their head coach, Colleen Lishway. Play resumes past the 2-minute mark of the second period. Fresno Pacific trying to get back within one. They do! Luke Young, the sophomore. 12 goals coming into this game, and he steps up in a big way for goal number 2. And it's 6-5. Del Campo with the push. Procopis. Procopis has it again. And a whistle, an ordinary foul against the Birds. And another whistle. Wakio controlling in the middle. Procopis with the pass at the 2-meter line. Procopis has it back again. Back into the middle. Trying to get past the 2-meter line. 16 seconds to shoot. And a chance and another goal. Quentin Gallagher. 7-5. The exercise science major. And the senior who only had 30 goals coming into this tournament. And that is goal number 2 for Gallagher in this game. Salem and Biola waiting in anticipation as they are watching this game from the stands on the other side, as they know they're going to be up next. Winner of that contest will take on Gannon, forcing a turnover. Ramy swims on down in a hurry. He keeps towards the net, and a whistle as Hammis was trying for a steal. And an exclusion against Fresno Pacific. It goes against Luke Young. They pull it back, Ramy. Back into the middle. Gallagher. Procopis blocked in front. Procopis trying for the rebound, and Fresno Pacific regains possession. The pressure was just enough in front by Christian Clark. And the Birds trying to go back within 1 here, but some miscommunication on a pass towards the far side to Blake Johnson. Luke Young, the Gray, fires too high. Forrest Gray didn't see anything towards the net, and that went over the head of Pecoraro. And a turnover. Well, a short-lived offensive possession for McKendree. Hammes. Cross-pull pass. Joey Brokaw. He waits. Into the middle. 1v1, and it is another goal. Forrest Gray. Fresno Pacific back within one. And Forrest Gray picks up a hat trick. Players getting subbed in and out. All time, McKendree leads the series 4-3. Like we talked about, this is the first time these two teams were squaring off since the 5th place game last year. There's Legoff. And another whistle. And a turnover. Fresno Pacific, a chance to tie. Ramos to Young. Into the middle with 10 to shoot and a whistle and a foul. An exclusion with Jordan Lambert controlling. And Luke Young controls, but they go back to the midline. And a chance with 3 seconds to shoot. That was far too late. And the shot by Brokaw. And McKendree with another push. Vittore. Now Legoff. He fires, and that is going to be denied by Hammes. Hammes. The big stop for Fresno Pacific. Throws it, Ramos. 10 seconds to shoot and a whistle. And possession back to McKendree. With 2:09 left, until we move along to the third. Vittore. The pass, Doherty. Vittore again, and a whistle. And an exclusion against Fresno Pacific. Doherty. The flip. Back over. Towards the middle, trying to feed a chance to Vittore. Fresno Pacific regains possession. Lambert, Ramos, 10 to shoot. There's some miscommunication in the middle, and it's going to be picked up by Vittore again. And the flip back towards the middle. And a foul trying to regain possession is Robertson. Ramos applying the pressure for Fresno Pacific as they try to get the extra point to tie this match before we move to the second half. It's Luke Young. It was loose for a second because there was a lot of pressure. Tristan Fox. And now Young. Left hand fires. We're tied. Luke Young ties it. 7-7. With 26 seconds left until we move along to the second half. The shot clock's going to be turned off. And McKendree. Shot clock turned off. Seems they're going to try the hold for that final shot until we move to the third. Prokopis. A little too far. Trying to find Legoff. Legoff, he skips it. Oh! Ahmad Legoff! How in the world?
That was about as a tough of an angle shot as you could have, and he still got it in anyway. That's impossible.
We're definitely going to have a replay of that before we move along to the third. But that leaves some time for Fresno Pacific as they try to tie it here. It's Tristan Fox, 2 to shoot, sends it off. They have to get it off Ramos, and it's going to go high. It will not get hit off in time. We're going to look again at that phenomenal goal by Ahmad Legoff, as we got 3 total here. I'd love to see if we can get a replay of that goal first to Legoff. And that's one of the first goals by McKendree. As we move along to the second goal, this is the goal for Fresno Pacific to Luke Young, who tied it. And now here is that goal for Ahmad Legoff. He just fired that shot. Look at that. He got the lucky skip, and it just bounced in. And I think he was like, how did that go in? And I think that was our reaction as well. So, wow. So we'll be back to start the second half on the WWPA Sports Network. Don't go anywhere, my friends. We got a good one here as McKendree leads Fresno Pacific 8-7. We'll be back to start the third quarter. We are back on the WWPA Sports Network as we move along into the third quarter here inside the